Good evening, viewers and listeners. Welcome to another program, Serving the People, brought to you by the Democratic Republican Party, the DRP, of which I am the founder and the host of this program. I am Anissa Batiste. Please let us start with a word of prayer. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you for the opportunity to speak to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines about governance and about the plans of the Democratic Republican Party to take this country forward. I pray, loving God, that you would bless the hearers with understanding, and may they be inspired to support this true alternative to governance in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the betterment of all. In Jesus' name, amen. And now, dear viewers, let me remind you that if you wish to contact this program, you may call the telephone number that is on your screen now. It is 528-1015. That's 528-1015. Or you may send an email. The address is also on your screen, servingthepeople.ab@gmail.com. I'll repeat the information at the end of the program for your assistance. Now, in last week's program, we shared with you some more of the DRP plans, and we want to do the same this evening. Let me just inform you that I had a very good time on the field, going into the different constituencies as I told you we were doing. And the last constituencies which we visited included North Leeward, the area of Spring Village, North Windward, where we went to Langley Park, North Central Windward, where we touched down in Byra, South Central Windward, where we walked through Lomans, Hadley's Village area, and we were also in Mariaqua, I believe it was last Wednesday or last Tuesday. It was a very interesting experience, and we met some really special friends to whom we would like to say hello on their request. I'd like to send a special hello, first of all, to my 90-year-old friend Anita of Langley Park in North Windward. We had a really nice experience meeting her for the first time, and she told me she looks at the program. So a special hello to you, Miss Anita. Also in Hadley's Village, special hello to Mrs. Joyles Thompson and family, to Vanessa and Kay from Spring Village and other friends from Spring Village, where I met a brother of mine, his sister, my brother Harris and his sister. I met his sister and family, Strongman and his wife, who told me he worked with my father in carpentry and building years ago. Also Pressy. And also a special hello to Trimmingham and Joshua. Trimmingham, I know of your difficult situation which you explained to me. I'm very sorry that it happened to you, but I want you to know not to give up and have hope. And I send a very special hello to you and your friend Joshua. And also to a young lady, Charles. Can't remember her first name, but special hello to you, Miss Charles. Do take care of yourselves and continue to look at the program and to learn about it. During my time, I also had some very special encounters with some friends, some children, and in particular children who are differently abled or disabled. And I was really impressed and touched by the fact that they knew me and they said to me that they saw me on the television and so on. And I want to say a very special hello to them in their language. Good evening, everyone. God bless you. Yes, I am taking it upon myself to learn a bit of sign language, and I hope that you would enjoy as I go along. And feel free to call me and let me know how I did and to encourage me in it. I think it is very important that we learn to communicate with all of our people, because we are all one, we are all Vincentians, regardless of our situations and our disabilities. I want to go right into talking about the DRP's plans for persons with disabilities, because one of the interesting experiences I had included a question being put to me by a member of the public who is disabled and he wanted to know what the DRP has planned for persons with disabilities. Well, we had a little conversation about it on the telephone, and I would like to let you know that our plans for our people who are disabled can be summed up into 3 points. Yes, 3 basic points which will cover essentially what as a government we can do and will do for persons who are disabled. Point number 1. We will provide monetary assistance or aid in training in a profession of their choice. Yes, where we have persons who are disabled and who are qualified and would like to work in a certain field, we would encourage training for them. We would provide the necessary training for them to be able to pursue that profession that they choose to pursue. Remember, not everybody's disability is as grave as ones where they cannot work. So there are those who can work and who are very intelligent, and our government will see to it that the relevant monetary assistance is put into training programs for persons who are disabled but who would like to pursue a certain profession. Point number 2. We will provide jobs for those who are qualified. Yes, persons within our disabled community who are qualified to work and who can contribute very well to society, we will ensure that jobs are provided for them so that they could pursue the right to private property and pursue happiness. And point number 3, which is by no means least, the state, the DRP government will give state aid or assistance to those who cannot work, those whose disability is of such a nature that they are not able to literally go out and physically work. The state will look out for them and provide relevant assistance to them accordingly. These are the 3 points which cover what a DRP government would do for persons with disability in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. 1, provide monetary aid in training in a profession of their choice, those who can work and want to pursue a certain job. Point number 2, we will provide jobs for those who are qualified. And point number 3, we will give state aid or assistance to those who cannot work or who are unable to work and need to be attended to. I want you to remember that this Democratic Republican Party is founded upon the belief in the inalienable or God-given rights and freedoms of all people. This has been the consistent preaching, as it were, from me, Anissa Batiste, as founder of this party. I have consistently shown that man has rights and freedoms which God gave unto him, and the only role of government is to protect the rights and freedoms of all, and I stress all, not just the majority who voted for the government, not just a small or a little elite group, but all people, majority and minority groups. And this includes persons with disabilities. And so, coming from that deep-seated belief and philosophical thinking that we as a government have a duty to protect the rights and freedoms of all of the people, that will ensure that we do our duty in service towards our people who are also disabled. Hence the 3-point plan I just outlined to you. I hope this gives an indication to my friend who's listening and others of what we intend to do, and as we go along, I hope to share more with you in sign language as I learn. Again, may God bless you. Okay, let's move on a little bit to talk about some more of the positions and plans of the Democratic Republican Party. I want to just repeat briefly our position when it comes to foreign affairs or foreign policy. I know that the question has been asked of us, what would a DRP government do concerning the traditional ties that our country has with certain other countries, such as, for example, Venezuela and Cuba. Now, there are a lot of persons, and I shouldn't say a lot really, but there are persons who tend to spread rumor concerning the DRP, knowing Anissa Batiste's position against communism and against that political philosophy which fights against the rights and freedoms of people, knowing that I stand very strongly against that, there are those who would say, well, if she gets into government as Prime Minister, she will cut off the relationships that our country has with Venezuela and with Cuba. Let me, Anissa Batiste, founder and leader of the DRP, tell you, our dear people, exactly what the DRP's position is. So when you hear the rumors, tell them Mrs. Anissa Batiste said, because this is the only position you should believe, because this is DRP telling you what we believe. The DRP knows that the country has had long-standing foreign relations with other countries such as Venezuela and Cuba, and we understand that those relationships exist based on different agreements, including financial arrangements, loans, for example, which have been, which we've borrowed for, let's say, for the construction of our international airport and other projects. We will not so crazily cut off relationships with countries just like that. What we have said and what the DRP believes and what we stand on is the need to protect the fundamental human rights of all peoples everywhere. And what we have said is that if at any time in our country's relations with these countries, we find out that there are human rights abuses taking place in their countries against their people or against other peoples who are in their countries, we would condemn such behavior. We would condemn any human rights violations that we become aware of, which have been proven to be so. We're not just going to take hearsay, but where we know that it is taking place, we will condemn it. We will say something about it. As Prime Minister, I will write to the leaders of these countries and I will indicate my displeasure and my country's disapproval of the behavior that is against human rights. And this is because fundamentally we stand on the need to protect the rights and freedoms of all people, including Venezuelans, including the Cuban people, including people from all over the world, Iran, Iraq, America, China, Taiwan, wherever. We believe that government's role is to protect the rights and freedoms of all peoples. Therefore, we will not end relationships with the countries, but where they are going wrong, we will say it is wrong. We don't have any personal friendships with leaders in these countries that would blind our eyes or compromise our position in taking a stand for the protection of the rights and freedoms of all people. And so that is the correct position of the DRP. We never said anywhere that we would break relations with these countries. We would continue to work with them in the interest of the protection of our people's economic rights and freedoms and other rights and freedoms. But wherever we see human rights and freedoms being violated, we will say something against it. That's our position. And so in our little brochure, which I showed you last week, which we have been handing out to people, you will see a section in there called Foreign Relations Policy, and we tell you what the DRP believes. We say, for example, we believe in the right to self-determination of all countries. For example, the Republic of China on Taiwan. So we believe that every country has the right to pursue its sovereignty and to take a position of self-determination, where if they want to break away from a communistic state and be democratic, we believe every country has the right to do that, and they should not be penalized because they want to pursue happiness in a form of government that they think is best for them. We believe in the right to self-determination, but not at the expense of the protection of the rights and freedoms of people. We also believe in the freedom of all from persecution and discrimination. Yes, we do not support, where you have Christian and other ethnic and religious minorities in the Eastern and Western hemispheres being persecuted and being discriminated against just because of their religion being unpopular or because they come from a certain ethnic or racial background. We don't support that at all. We believe that regardless of who you are, regardless of your religion, you're a human being fundamentally created by God with rights and freedoms, and government's role is to protect those rights and freedoms. When it comes to foreign relations, you may have sometimes seen government leaders seeming to take sides at international bodies and as it were, appearing to, as it were, chide other nations on behalf of other nations, etc. Well, again, we will stand against any sort of human rights violations, regardless of who is doing it. We're not going to tell, for example, America it is wrong if it does human rights violations, but don't tell our friend Cuba when it's doing the same thing. No way. Anybody who is violating human rights, the DRP government, led by Anissa Batiste, will say that behavior is wrong. Our priority is not to maintain some special relationship with a head of state, to say this one is my friend and that one is my friend. Our priority will always be the protection of the economic rights of Vincentians everywhere. Our first role is to protect our people's rights everywhere. And protecting our people's rights wherever they are means protecting human rights everywhere. Because once human rights are protected in a country, then where our people are in that country too, as in the diaspora, they too will be protected. So that will be our priority, among our priority, the protection of the economic rights of Vincentians everywhere. Also, on our priority list, no transgression of the rights and freedoms of others. And also the promotion of republicanism, which is a philosophy of governance that emphasizes protection of the God-given rights and freedoms of all people. We will promote that through democracy. So we believe in the democratic system of getting into government. We don't believe in government overthrow by violence and war and blocking roads and all kind of confusion. Yes, you can protest, but don't break the law. We believe in the democratic process. Let the people go to the polls and let them vote and let them decide who should rule. And when you rule, you should rule protecting the rights and freedoms of all of the people. That's what we have as priority when it comes to foreign policy and foreign relations. Having said that, I wish to address also for a brief moment the issue of religious liberty. Yes, you may have heard some very terrible rumors saying that Anissa Batiste, if she becomes Prime Minister, other people who are of a different religion from her will not be able to practice their religion, and she will ban carnival and she will ban this, etc., etc. Those things are not true. Anytime you hear people saying those things, ask them one question. Give me the evidence where Anissa Batiste ever said she would ban carnival. Tell me where Anissa Batiste ever said she would ban any other religion that is not hers. And you know what? They will not be able to give you such evidence because it doesn't exist. I have never ever said those things anywhere because those things are not what I believe. I have consistently said from the very time I shot onto the political scene with the referendum, I have consistently been preaching about rights and freedoms. And I have said that people have the right to religious liberty when it comes to religious freedom or religious matters. Religious liberty means that everybody is free to practice their religion according to the dictates of their consciences, and government's role is to protect their right to do so. Religious liberty means that government will not enforce religion by law. It will not prohibit or hinder the practicing of any religion by law. It will not seek to protect any one religion or a few religions over other religions by law. Government is not supposed to touch religion by law. Let religions and religious people alone. Let them discuss, let them debate, let them preach their beliefs, let them practice their beliefs, as long as in so doing they do not break the law of the land. By that I mean infringe upon the rights and freedoms of other people. But this DRP government and this DRP party has never said that it would ban the practicing of any religion. That is not true. Our position is briefly explained at the back of our brochure here, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, the DRP believes in the right to religious liberty. This means all religions will exist freely without government interference. There will be no legislation passed to enforce any religion, to prohibit any religion, or to protect any religion above another. No hindrance of religious development, only laws to strengthen freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and freedom of information. And that's an exact quotation from me, Anissa Batiste. So we will not interfere with people's freedom to practice their religion. And we're not just saying this. We understand what happens in a country when people are persecuted by the state for practicing their religion or for refusing to follow a certain religion that is enforced. In the year 1912, there was a law in this country which prohibited or hindered Shaker Baptists from practicing their religion. They couldn't practice their religions, they couldn't meet in their praise houses, people couldn't even be associated with them. If it were found out that you were doing that, you could be caught by this law. Thanks to people like George McIntosh, who was a politician back then, and he fought very hard to see that this law was overturned or repealed because it was against the religious liberty of the Baptist people. We believe that George McIntosh was right. We believe that government should not pass laws to tell you what religion to follow. Government should not pass laws to tell you what religion to believe in. That is a matter between you and your God in your conscience. And because we believe this, we will leave religious matters alone. This does not mean that politicians can't speak religious things. This does not mean that as Prime Minister, I can't quote a scripture or I can't tell people you must pray to God and we must trust in God. Nothing is wrong with that. As long as the Prime Minister, as long as my government does not pass any law to force a religion upon people, giving them penalty if they don't do what the law says, as long as we don't pass a law to force people not to follow a certain religion by giving penalty if they follow that religion, like the Baptist Prohibition Ordinance of 1912. As long as we don't do that, that's fine. But we can speak about religion, we can encourage people to pray, we can encourage people to be obedient to God's commandments. That is fair and right because that is a part of even the politicians' religious liberty. And all these things are guaranteed under our Constitution. Section 9 of the Constitution speaks about freedom of belief, freedom of religion, freedom to express your religion and to propagate it, freedom to assemble. And everybody has this freedom in the country, including politicians. So I hope you understand our position. We're not going to ban Carnival because it's a social institution of the country and there are people who want it. And remember, governance is not running a church. It's running a government where you have all kinds of people. Some believe in this, some believe in that, some don't believe this, some don't believe that. Well, the preachers are free to preach what they have to preach against Carnival according to what the Bible shows them. And the Carnival person who likes Carnival is also free to practice his Carnival. As long as in your freedom you do not breach the freedoms of others, the law allows you to do it. And the DRP government will not force any religious idea upon anybody by banning Carnival. This is our position. If people come and tell you otherwise, tell them no. I heard Mrs. Batiste. This is what she said. Stop telling lies on her and the DRP. And now, I want to also, in the last few minutes of this program, I want to also address another rumor. It was brought to my attention recently, and I have to let you know the truth again so that you could let them know what Mrs. Batiste and the DRP are really saying. So it is rumored that the DRP is going to join up with the Green Party. That is not true. The Democratic Republican Party, which is represented by the symbol that you can see there behind me on my left, that's our symbol. It's a red heart with a blue fist and a white banner saying, I am a Democratic Republican. I told you last week our color is going to be blue, and I explained that that blue stands for the rule of law, which basically means nobody is above the law. We are all equal under the law. We all have equal rights under the law, and we will stamp out corruption. We will deal with white-collared crimes because nobody is above the law. And the fist shows power of the people. These are our symbols, and the blue is our color. We are not the Green Party, and we are not joining up with the Green Party. We are not forming a coalition with the Green Party. So wherever you heard that rumor, it is just that, a rumor. It is not the truth. Okay, and I want to make that absolutely clear. And you heard it right from the horse's mouth, as we would say, from the leader and founder of the DRP, Mrs. Anissa Batiste, which is yours truly. So if anybody comes and tell you, oh, are you here on the radio because, you know, those who are against us are famous for spreading lies about us, unfortunately, but it is true. It's a part of the reality that we face. If you hear them saying, oh, she's going to join up with Ivan O'Neill of the Green Party, I have nothing against Mr. Ivan O'Neill personally, but I do not believe that our philosophies match, and therefore the DRP will not be forming a coalition with the Green Party. And that is plain and simple. Also, if you hear them saying, oh, she's going to join up with the ULP and they're going to run her in East Kingstown and all this nonsense, again, that is error. It is not true. It is a lie. All of these things are being said to try to distract you from the fact that the DRP exists as a viable alternative, as the true alternative to good governance in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But don't be distracted. Keep listening to me. Keep looking at this program, Serving the People. It comes every Wednesday at 6:30 on SVG TV. And if you keep looking to it and you keep looking out for any other information we put out in the media, whether it be on television ads, which we hope to bring to you soon, or in the newspapers or on the radio, if you keep listening to us, you will hear exactly what we believe, exactly what our positions are, and you wouldn't have to be misguided by the rumors of the other sides. Let me make a very interesting point to you, which you must consider. You may have heard some say, oh, she has no experience, or she can't run government, or where is she going with that new party? Third parties don't work. Well, I ask you this. If we don't have something that's workable, if the DRP is not a viable alternative, why are they spending so much time spreading rumors against us? Why do they feel the need to attack us so much with all sorts of lies and terrible things? Why? One of the last things I heard was, oh, she can't run country, she's a little girl, etc. Why all the insults? Why all the angry attitudes? If we can't make it, leave us alone. Don't talk about us. Forget about us. But you see, the reality is they know we can do it. They know we are a viable alternative. They even feel threatened by the DRP. And this is why they engage in so much propaganda or lies or rumors against us to try to trick you, the people, so you wouldn't listen to us. But I'm appealing to you. You've given the government a chance. You've given the opposition a chance in history for 17 years. Give a new party a chance. Give the DRP a chance. Let us show you what we can do. You've seen my track record. You see how hard I work. You know how much I care about the people, where I have sought to take care of persons who have been terribly neglected by both government and main opposition parties in this country. You've seen how I am genuine. You've seen also how I am consistent. I was not afraid to tell the government when it was wrong, neither was I afraid to tell the opposition when they are wrong. So I can be trusted to always take a consistent, principled position. Can you say the same for the others? One minute they say they're with you, another minute they're against you when you have to tell them that they are wrong. Vote the DRP when the time comes, and we continue to look for our candidates to bring to you in your various constituencies. Please look out for us. Please give us your support, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines will be a better place for it. Until our next program, remember, we love you, we care about you. Call us on the number on your screen, 528-1015. And remember, especially for my disabled friends, may God bless you. Bye-bye.